The murder of Eugene Terre'Blanche was like a jolt of electricity going through the Afrikaner right wing.
In Suid-Afrika, hy moet uitgestamp word tot die laaste bene. Hy kry niks.
The way that Terre'Blanche died, I think that's very significant. If he just died in his sleep, that would have been a different matter. But he died in quite a dramatic way. And in fact, he died in a way that he almost predicted in his own speeches, you know, because he almost, in a way, actualized what he had always predicted for white people, except that it actually happened to him then. So it was, you know, I think all of those things came together to make it quite a... Even people who didn't have any interest in him took note.
The violence of his death turned Terre'Blanche into an instant right-wing martyr.
Ek het ervaar dat daar voor sy dood 'n groot hoeveelheid organisasies onder die boere-Afrikaner volk was, maar soos ek vir mense ook al baie gesê het, wil dit voorkom asof meneer Terre'Blanche met sy bloed die grense tussen die organisasies van die Afrikaner boerevolk weggewas het.
Visagie claims that Terre'Blanche's death led to a heap of new AWB membership applications.
Ons beleef 'n geweldige oplewing tans. Ons kry navraag wat ons omtrent amper nie kan administratief hanteer ten spyte van administratiewe personeel wat addisioneel aangestel is nie. Daar is 'n geweldige groot hoeveelheid belangstelling en daagliks ervaar ek dat ons in die omgewing van 200 oproepe kry van mense wat belangstel om aan te sluit.
Since his death, the ANC has warned of a right-wing mobilization. We have also seen crackdowns on alleged right-wing terrorists. However, the government is careful to play down the threat.
Firstly, I don't think we must elevate the so-called threat to suggest that the country is engulfed or there are racial polarization in the country. I think what we must always appreciate is that the defeat of apartheid in 1994, it meant the defeat of racism in the country.
As daar mense is wat voel dat die reënboognasie en die nuwe Suid-Afrika vir hulle aanvaarbaar is, dit diskwalifiseer hulle onmiddellik vir lidmaatskap van die boere-Afrikaner volk.
The AWB is invested in a strong internet presence and a clear appeal to European neo-Nazi groups. These links are increasing attention to right-wing theories that the ANC is planning to wipe out Afrikaners completely. This idea of an Afrikaner genocide comes from a vision by the early 20th century mystic Siener van Rensburg. He predicted an all-out attack on the Afrikaners. He called it the Night of the Long Knives.
In kort kom dit daarop neer dat die swart man in Suid-Afrika sy revolusie wil voortsit, die revolusie wat begin het deur die sogenaamde struggle. Hy wil sy revolusie nou voortsit deur al die wit mense uit te moor en uit die land uit te verdryf. En dit gaan gedoen word deur die wit mense fisies dood te maak met al wat 'n wapen is wat hulle in hande kan kry.
Whether they call it the Night of the Long Knives or not, this theme of a race war where an Afrikaner minority is slaughtered by a black majority turns up again and again. It was one of the cornerstones of apartheid mythology. These marble friezes are a part of the Voortrekker monument. The monument was a symbol of what Afrikaners saw as the only answer to annihilation: nationalism.
You would see throughout their history that they had this drive for self-determination. Think about big historical events within their history, the Great Trek, the Anglo-Boer War. Think about the Ossewa brandwag during the 30s and the stormjars. And then when the change came after the Republic in the late 60s, we had the Herstigte Nasionale Partij, and later on, in the early 80s, we saw the AWB. Now, their idea is, one way or another, to get some sort of self-determination.
Okay, here we have photographs from the Anglo-Boer War, 1899 to 1902, taken in the concentration camps. Like the scenes of bloodshed we have in terms of our history there, it's basically continuing after 1994. These pictures have all been taken after 1994.
Some Afrikaner groups still feel that a separate homeland is the only answer.
Brutally murdered.
Paul Kruger is at the head of an effort to achieve exactly that.
In other words, you have an electoral commission which basically facilitates elections. And as the Independent Electoral Commission facilitates elections in a broad South African sense, the Volksraadverkiesingskommissie, or the VVK as it is known by abbreviation, facilitates an election among our own people, Afrikaans-speaking Boer Afrikaner people.
The VVK claims to have registered 10,000 voters so far. This drive towards a Volksstaat is supported by some pretty old-school allies. Andries Breitenbach leads the umbrella organization, the Afrikaner Front. He's also the leader of the Herstigte Nasionale Partij. Established in 1969, the HNP is the oldest far-right-wing group still around today.
En dan sal daar 'n verkiesing uitgeskryf word en tussen daardie sal dan verteenwoordigende liggaam, ons praat van 'n volksraad, gekies word. En daardie volksraad sal die taak hê om ons eis om vryheid in die eerste plek by die huidige regering te gaan stel.
These so-called Boer Afrikaner elections are planned for May next year. Meanwhile, the government is adamant that a Volksstaat is not on the cards.
Consciously, we took a decision as a majority people in this country, including majority of Afrikaner people, that we want to be part of this new South Africa. And I think let's not create an impression when we talk about these things, that a huge majority of the Afrikaner community want to be part of this cessation. They want to live outside of South Africa, like the king of Abatembu in the Eastern Cape. He wants to have his own Abatembu president and so on. Those are crazy ideas.
You see that there's sort of a movement away from a collectivist kind of identity towards a more individualist identity from the 60s onwards. So that's why your far right-wing ideal of a Boerenstaat and all of that will never ever be acceptable to the majority of Afrikaners, because they can't imagine themselves totally, just hoarding together, like in one little territory, and while giving up everything that white people enjoy in South Africa.
The so-called protection afforded by the Constitution is almost worthless. You are being killed, you are being raped, you are being hijacked, constitution or no constitution.
Dan mag daar 'n situasie kom dat die volk sê, nou neem ons die reg in eie hande. En ons kamp van ons 'n bepaalde gebied of gebiede af en ons besluit daar neem ons nou die beheer oor, prakties. En as dit dan moet lei tot 'n poging om dit gewelddadig te onderdruk, dan is dit hulle wat die oorlog op ons afgedwing het.
After the break, South Africa's past or its future?
Wat kan ek nou